Hey Virgos, welcome back to the Guiding Chariot and welcome to your Cancer season reading. Alright my lovelies, I hope you guys are all doing well. We're going to hop right into this reading. So far the signs this season, and maybe it's because I took my little break, I needed my little recovery session, but for some reason so far the readings this month have turned into long ones, so we're just going to dive into it. We're not going to make you wait any longer. There we go. Alright. Let's see. I think we're gonna do what we did in the Cancer vid. We're gonna get all the cards out and then we'll talk about them at one time. It's so funny. I always hear people wanting to like have their video come out first because then they don't have to wait, which I get, I understand. I always do it by, whose birthday's coming up, so Cancer's got to go first this time. But I always think it's so funny, because the signs that get to go later, like I've already seen a few of the readings go by, so I can already kind of start to see trends and things that are happening, across the signs, not just for the individual. It's funny to see so far, so like the Cancer video, I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, Virgo, but it might be important. I don't know why. But like, Cancer had a lot of relationship stuff coming up. Leo was all business. It was all business. So I'm excited to see what comes up for you guys. I think the next round, depending what kind of trends I see in this round of videos, the next round or the pick a card I do for next week probably will be on whatever I see the most. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So Virgos, so far, looking at this spread, you need a bit of a breather. Which, if I said that to any of the Virgos in my life, probably would roll their eyes at me. Hold on. Get a card run away? Ooh, okay. But it does look like you need a bit of a breather, my lovely Virgos. And not even in the sense that you've been working too hard, because I don't think you have. You guys are hard workers, so not to... You didn't like that, did you? Flying my cards all over the place. Queen of Cups, bottom of the deck. Queen of Swords. We've got two down here. Hang on. Oh, don't make me bend down. What we got? Knight and King. Perfect. Alright. So Virgos, I will say, you have Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck, you have Queen of Swords, Knight of Wands, and King of Wands in your actual spread. That is a lot of people showing up in one reading. Just going to get these all... Actually, I'm going to pick them up anyway. We'll fix them later. That is a lot of people to show up, and I feel like they're all varying people that you are going to be dealing with. Especially this Queen of Swords. Out of all of them, this Queen of Swords either feels like the energy that you are really stepping into, or this is someone that you are going to spend, I don't want to say a lot of time with, but that's going to be a significant interaction, whoever this Queen of Swords is down here. We'll get to her. We're going to start at the top and work our way down. But literally starting off this season with the Wheel of Fortune. So big, big changes, lots of shifting. And this could go two ways for you, honestly. Well, I mean, it goes two ways for everyone, if I'm completely honest. But for you, I don't necessarily see one outweighing the other, right? Because as the wheel spins, one side is moving towards you, the other side is spinning away from you. So as something new comes in, something old is going out, right? So for you guys in this particular spread, especially because you have the Ten of Wands right after it, something for sure is on its way out. Definitely something that was stressful. I almost want to say this is something that had way more burden than it was, fundamentally worth, right? It caused a lot of, I don't want to say it caused a lot of trouble, but it took so much time and so much energy and so much maybe patience, understanding, right? Trying to figure out why this had to be this way. Why is this so difficult? In theory, it shouldn't be this hard, but why is it being so difficult and so tricky, right? So honestly, that's a great thing to see shift out and move away. We definitely love that. You also have the Ten of Pentacles right after that, and I feel like these two tens honestly are quite connected, right? You know, now could it fit the example I talked about as one thing spins away from you, something is coming in? Yes, totally could be. So it can be this trying time leaving to make room for more prosperity. Definitely could be connected to money as well. But I do kind of wonder if this situation was connected to money, right? Whether, you know, this is a job, right? Like maybe it was a difficult job that was trying or stressful, but we need that paycheck, right? So it could be something like that. It could have been a situation with someone where you got money, like maybe you own property and this was a renter, and maybe it was an awful renter, but you know it's better than making no money on the place. You know, take it how it resonates. But this particular situation, we're just going to cast a wide net. We're just going to call it a situation. You know, the reason, I almost want to say the reason you maybe hung on to it for so long with this Ten of Wands, or tried to put up with it and tried to make it work, it may have brought some financial security. All right. You know, and I'm just going to call this out because we do have the Lovers card in reverse. This could have to do with it doesn't have to be a romantic partner, but it definitely could. But someone you had a relationship with, right? Could be, you know, could be whatever. But just throwing that out there because the Lovers card is there. But this situation, hands down, is changing. It probably has already started, right? Like you're probably watching this, be like, oh yeah, that happened last week, or we're working through that, or blah, 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 blah. And I say that because this Wheel of Fortune is right up at the front. So I feel like this is kind of already going on a surface level, right? After that, we have the Magician card here, which is great to see because as things are shifting and things are feeling wonky and shaky and new and turbulent, this is you kind of holding on to your power, standing ground. And you know, this isn't necessarily a card of being grounded, right? But this is a card of will and exercising that will and holding control and holding all the key items in play, right? So this situation hasn't thrown you off your guard, and it shouldn't, right? It shouldn't. You should be able to hold ground. And with the Magician card coming out, it's saying that you can. So great. We love that. You have the Four of Swords here. Four of Swords is a card of rest and recovery. You can see this person is kind of, you know, granted, this particular one always makes her look dead because she's like in a coffin where normally there's this lying in a tomb, and it's not necessarily dead. This woman is sealed. Like, but honestly, I feel like, especially because this is coming out under the Ten of Wands, you definitely need a break from this situation. Whether it has benefits or not is irregardless. You definitely need a break here with this Ten of Swords. And when I say Four of Swords, sorry, I was looking at Ten of Wands. And the reason I highlight that so much, because this is an intentional break. Like, this isn't like, you know, let's use the example if this is, you know, this is a lover where the relationship is going a little sour, which, I mean, it's lovers in reverse. So it's probably not the greatest, more healthiest thing in its current, you know, form. Whatever this was, definitely has taken a toll. It's stressed you out. It's made matters hard. You know, it's for sure messed with your peace of mind. This Four of Swords is an intentional break. It's not, you know, I'm going to just let this fall apart and it'll be done. That's a break because I'm not doing it anymore. Like, no, you actually have to take some recovery time. You really need to, I don't want to say repair in the sense where you're broken, because you're not, right? Because you're still in control. But you really need to, like, shake this off. Like, this really was stressful and exhausting. And you are kind of you're running a little lower than where you normally would be because of it. Like, that's really where that recovery piece comes in. And this doesn't mean you have to recover alone. I say that because I keep looking at this card and you can see this person surrounded by little forest friends, right? Well, not forest friends, they're in the Arctic, but you know what I mean. You get it. So it doesn't mean you have to recover alone and just isolate if that's not a thing you want to do. You can spend time with friends, but you're spending time with people who you enjoy being with, that refill you, you know, that you can have fun with, and shake off all this funkiness from before, right? That's really what this is about. Because there definitely is some repair work that has to happen in this relationship. And also remember that the Lovers card is also the decision card. So some of you may have a hard decision to make, especially if this is dealing with a relationship, romantic or otherwise. some of us might be hesitant to, you know, be firm about something, take a stand for something, and commit to it, right? Because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You know, someone may have their own agenda, may not match up with yours, and then it's, you know, it can be a little awkward, right? When it's well, I'm flattered you want it, but I don't, or vice versa. It could be the other way around. But I'm starting to ramble. But anyway, the Lover's card for sure is telling me that a decision has to be made, like has to be made. And looking at the beginning, it's most likely going to be either we do this or we don't, right? Regardless what the situation is, either we continue it, you know, with these needed changes, so I'm not breaking my back, you know, so we can enjoy this Ten of Pentacles, or we don't do this because you're messing up what could be for me, right? Because it could be this Ten of Pentacles, but because of whatever stressors and conflicts and tensions are coming up, it's becoming the Ten of Wands. So either we change these things or allow these changes to happen to make it better so we can have the Ten of Pentacles. But if you're going to be stubborn and keep it at 10 of Wands, I gotta go. I just gotta go. Like, that's really what you're facing. I didn't want to say during Cancer season. Like I said, I feel like this has already started. Like, it's already kind of in your lap. Like, this reading is really just, this is here, it's happening, we're doing this. And then with the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups is an energy that's really about checking in with your emotional self. Right? And I almost would say this in a sense about really checking in with your emotional health, right? Like, how has the stress and situations kind of connected to this event, how's it affected your emotional body? For some of you, it may have even affected your perceptions of certain situations with this Queen of Swords popping up here. So things to definitely think about very, very carefully and kind of sit with as you're getting prepared to make this decision. You also have the Hierophant card here, which is a card of learning and spirituality, which is great. For you, the learning especially is coming through, right? So learning through this situation, growing through this situation. This is also a very strict energy. I almost compare this card to Saturn sometimes, because it has a lot to do, I mean, yes, it talks about religion and all that kind of stuff, but it's very traditional. This is a card that says this is how we do this, right? This isn't a fly by, we'll make it up as we go type of energy. There are rules and structures and things that have to be obeyed here with the Hierophant, right? So I think this helps you in two ways. One, as a general kind of blanket, you know, there is a way that this situation should be playing out, right? There should be rules and boundaries to what's happening, right? And when people just kind of go off the wall and do whatever, that's where tensions come up. So that's just kind of a general, right, common sense, normal practices, you know, it's kind of an expected situation. Like, if you do this, this happens, right? What I think is more significant that's coming through, and it's because you have the Hierophant and the Queen of Swords coming out next to each other. This is really, it's a little, it's going to make you come off probably a little cold. So depending who you're working with in this situation, could be a water sign. This Queen of Cups could be indicative of a water sign. Oh my God, especially if it is a water sign. This is you setting boundaries. This is you setting up that structure, right? If the Emperor card came out, even more so. But there's a way to do this. There's a code of conduct. There's a way to behave. There's checks and balances. There's a chain of command, right? There's a method to how this situation should work that's tested. It makes sense. This is why things are done in this fashion. Then you have this Queen of Swords, which is this energy that I think is actually going to be integral for you to be able to make sure this sticks, because she's super cold, right? She's black or white. Here's the rules. You know with how these go. If you break the rules, this is what happens. If you keep the rules, we get to enjoy this whatever is going on. So together, this is a great energy for you to adopt and you to hold safe and respectable boundaries in this situation, Virgo. If this Queen of Swords is the person you're dealing with, this can be, I don't want to say it's tricky, because again, this Queen of Swords is super practical. She's very black and white. The problem, if this is the person you're dealing with, she kind of swings her swords and asks questions later. So this energy can be quite ruthless, which I can definitely see why the Ten of Wands would come up. If she's just swinging her sword and hacking at you and stabbing at you and poking at you, and you're not even able to explain why or how this needs to happen, that is going to be a tricky energy to deal with. Honestly, if that's the case, if someone you're dealing with and you're in this situation and they're that kind of volatile where this Queen of Swords is really being negatively impacted, which granted the next card we had out is the Knight of Wands in reverse. So this person, despite their age, and I say that because you have a queen, which would denote a more mature energy, but they're showing up as a, reversed knight, which is full of immaturity. And of all the knights, it's the Knight of Wands. So super reactive, super hot-headed, literally will blow up, scream, shout. I don't want to say this person can get violent, but they're very explosive when it comes to reactions. If this person is so rigid and inflexible in the way they see things and the way they think about things or their perception of certain situations, and once that situation, butts against them, or they feel uncomfortable and they feel, rebuted or rebuffed in any way, and this energy starts to take over, that is such a dangerous combination, right? I would honestly say if that's the case, this person, whoever this person is not ready to listen, right? Someone who's ready to listen can create change. This person, if the person you're dealing with is this negatively aspected Queen of Swords, that person's not ready to listen. So that's going to be your big cue on how to make this decision, right? If they can't listen, if what you're saying isn't breaking through, if they don't understand it. I always have this thing when I'm explaining, like if I have tension with someone and we start talking about something and it's like, I get what you're saying, but, like the second that but comes in, I already know they're not listening. Like that's my cue to be like, oh, okay, you don't understand, right? Like that's kind of the moment. I would say if that situation is popping up for you, honestly, that's kind of this person showing you exactly who they are. And you kind of have to not do that. Like you have to let that go, right? It's just, that's not going to be the healthiest situation for you, if I'm all honest. Especially if this person is tapping into that energy and not only being an immature knight, but being a really irresponsible, reactive, volatile knight. This energy should be allowed to go. Like put that person on the wheel and spin it yourself. Be like, bye, you gotta go. Because you have here this Knight of Wands, which I love. Best case scenario, this would be someone new coming in, right? So as this cold, icy queen goes out, you have this really passionate, motivated, driven person coming in. This can also be you once you're free of this burden, right? Once you're free of all this weight that's holding you down. This is you being able to, do what you want to do. And not necessarily even a fun way, but just, living your best life, following your passions, following your intentions, not having to want to do something, but then, oh, I can't because, then I can't include this person or this person won't like it, so they'll get mad at me if I do it, so I shouldn't, just to keep the peace, or, whatever that example could be for you. This is you really kind of stepping up into your power and really doing things for you because you want to, because they feel good to you, because they inspire you, whatever your personal reason is. But this is you really doing what needs to be done. This is also very charismatic, very sexual energy as well when we get the wands. So this can also be you, in a place to attract new love if this is a romantic partner, right? Because we still have that Lover's card on the table. So lots of good to come here. Now, my big example was this being another person. If this is you, like if this energy is more kind of connected to the Hierophant to give you that structure and ability to really set clear boundaries with whoever you're dealing with, then I would say this knight, instead of affecting how this queen is thinking and affecting, making decisions based out of really reactionary, anger-fueled spaces, this other person that you're dealing with, right, then has the opportunity to grow from this knight into this king, right? Because it's Knight of Wands, King of Wands. So there is growth here if this is the same person, right? So to me, that's kind of how this plays out. You either have this energy for yourself, creating healthy boundaries, and this person stepping up to the plate to really grow and evolve themselves, right? Not necessarily the connection between the two of you, although, you know, if someone went from this to this, that's going to make the connection so much better. But the focus really is on them figuring this out, right? But you creating that structure really helps them to do that. So if they are responsive, if it means enough to them that they really care about it, this is going to be great for the two of you, but especially for this person, because they really get to grow and move into a much healthier space. If not, and this is you kind of playing by the rules, and this energy just truly does not want to, you know what you need to do. You know exactly what you need to do. Okay, so we're going to clarify this energy a little deeper. Yeah, see, your reading is quite different from the first two also. Cancer season, bringing up all the feels. Okay. No wonder why the Four of Swords is right in the middle of your spread. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, first card right out of the gate. Tower. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we know. Change, right? I don't want to bleed into the whole, like, I know people get so intimidated when they see the Tower card. It's mostly indicative of change. Now, can things be falling apart and crumbling? Yes, for sure. If this is that crazy queen, then yeah, you probably had a big blow up or something recently. Just throwing it out there. But this particular energy, really about that shift. And it probably was really sudden. Whatever this was right away. It was instant. It wasn't like a build up. It just, everything came to a head and then just exploded. It's like a massive thunderbolt just hit. We then have the Four of Chalices, which would be the Four of Cups. And then the Four of Swords is back, so you've got this twice. So again, big reason to kind of chill and go through some recovery this particular season. This Four of Cups, I'm going to say this, and I don't know who's going to need it, because I don't think it's going to be many of you, because this is not something I generally see with Virgos. Especially the Virgos I'm super close with. It's just not a thing I see you guys do. So maybe one of you needs to hear this. So if it doesn't resonate, leave that on the leave this on the table. You know, but the Four of Chalices is kind of a pity party energy, right? It's being stuck on all the heavy, you know, depressing, hard, challenging things, not seeing the blessing that's coming, or not being grateful for something that came in because of this, right? It's just so focused on the wonky stuff. Wait, did I say 4? I said 4, didn't I? I totally said 4. Now I'm looking at it. That's 6. That's 6. I don't know. Why did I want to call this 4? Okay, you know what? Then actually that makes me feel even better. So then again, keep everything I said. So maybe some of you just needed to hear the 4, or one of you. Because that particular energy makes you hold on to something longer than you need to, right? Sorry, I'm just giggling over that. Anyway, I'll finish this up, then we'll talk about it as a 6. But as a 4, that energy does make you hold on to things longer. And for Virgos, that can come through where, you know, like, I want to help, I want to fix, you know, we can make this better, da 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 da. And it's a wonderful quality. Like, I'm not trying to, like, shame this behavior, but there's also a certain point where it starts to become a detriment to you, and that is not something you should ever allow, right? So for those of you who are clinging too tightly to something or someone, right, this is coming up as a, you know, you gotta let that go. If it's not serving you, you have to let that go. Or if it's causing more pain to hold on to it than to let it go, you've got to do it for you, all right? Now, as a 6, actually, no, the 6 is upright, so we're not going to go down that road. The 6 is a card of nostalgia. It is sometimes it can be looking at things with rose-colored glasses and seeing things, better than they are. So just be aware of that perception. For those of you that are kind of falling victim to this, that's where this Queen of Swords, and it's falling right underneath. That's where this Queen of Swords perceptive ability is going to help you, because she sees things as they are. It's all black and white. We're kind of not allowing the feelings into it to kind of color that. It's really like, does this serve or not serve me? So that's something I don't think that's a huge warning sign, but it's just something to be aware of, right? 4 of Swords we've talked about already. This 4 of Swords coming out on the 10 of Pentacles. This isn't something that should be forced, right? This isn't something that has to be muscled through, right? I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you've been putting way more energy into it than it really requires or needs, or in some cases, if I'm really honest, deserves, right? I would almost say you've been in output mode longer than you've been receiving help or support or any type of nourishment or sustenance, right? And that's not okay, especially if this is a relationship, right, Virgos? You want there to be a push and a pull, a give and a take, and with this card popping up, to me it looks like you've been putting more out than you've been receiving from this other person, right? Which we've seen. One of the examples literally was that relationship. So we have the Magician here and the Fool card. I love this. Fool card is all about new beginnings. All about new beginnings. Having it clarified, the Magician really tells me the cards are or the ball is in your court, right? The cards are in your hand, which we knew from the Magician, because it's the Magician's will that he's exercising, right? No one else is. But with the Fool card, this can really be what you want it to. If you truly want to repair this, there's an opportunity to do so. If you're ready for something new, you can make that happen also, right? So there is a fresh start available to you, depending how you want it. But I think that's the big thing, especially with this Queen of Cups on the bottom. It's, what do you want, right? So, and it's not selfish. It is not selfish to think about this and be like, well, what is it I need? And look, you also have the Queen. Your next card is the Queen of Cups. I just noticed that. So you have the 4 of Swords twice, and you also have the Queen of Cups twice. And the Queen of Cups is all about checking in with your own subconscious, checking in with your own heart space. You can even see she's normally this is the only court card. Well, I guess only the Court of Cups has cups. But normally her cup is covered. Like in the traditional deck, hers has a lid on it, right? But traditionally in all of them, she holds her cup very close to her. That it makes me think of that phrase, I'm going to, breast my cards, or keeping your cards close to your chest, because they're yours. It's not that they're secret or private, but they're yours and they're valuable and they mean something to you. And you only let, the privileged and special and worthy take a peek into your cup or look at your cards. Same thing as this Queen of Cups holding that ship close to her. Right? She's kind of plucked it out of the water and she's kind of keeping it safe in her arms. That's kind of, I don't want to say you're being like precious and delicate with your feelings, but this is a moment for you to really be honoring yourself, right? In whatever that means, right? So it doesn't mean you have to isolate and become a little hermit if that's not what you want to do, but you really have to serve you for a little bit. And this Cancer season is really giving you the opportunity to do so. Which is lovely, because sometimes you don't get that. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Swords falling out on the Lover's card. So, this 8 of Swords card, I think, speaks more to this other person than it does to you. And I say that for a couple reasons. One, because that's just how I kind of feel about this person. No offense, no judgment. But also, for you to show up as the Magician and the Fool, these boundaries don't apply to you. Those restrictions don't really apply to you at all, right? You have too much control over this situation for you to have to suffer those restrictions. This is that other person either unable or unwilling to see things for what they could be. And honestly, they probably can't see things the way you do also. So where you may see the how to get there, or you can see the steps to make that progress, or even just understanding the rules of how this could operate, whether this is work or relationship or whatever. You know, I feel like this is kind of just saying, like, you get it. You do. You just get it. This person doesn't. The struggle lies in their... Ooh! Okay. The struggle lies in their, like, either inability to see things or they're just unable to. They lack the desire to. You know, they would rather stay in their comfort zone and be where they are now. Yeah. So you've got the Princess of Cups in reverse, and also the Star in reverse. All right. So this Star is going to differ depending where this Knight goes. If it's attached here, if it's attached here. So we're gonna start here before we clarify your little outcome pairing. Okay. Princess of Chalices coming up in reverse doesn't bother me too much. I don't necessarily see that as a negative in this particular situation. Now, it can speak to some immaturity coming through for sure, you know, it being a princess, especially emotional immaturity. That's really kind of the only thing I see that you need to be cautious about. There is this kind of connection to the Six of Cups. Both of these cards talk about someone from the past. So if this situation or this relationship is connected to someone from your past, or someone you have a history with, that can just kind of be an extra signifier. I would also be aware of their history, right? If they show a history of certain behavior, or the situation has, like, this is not the first time you've had to deal with this in the same way or the same manner. You know, like I said earlier, that's the person showing you who they are, right? So be aware of that. Yeah, that's just going to make things stickier than they need to be. And then this Star card in reverse, if this is more so about you, right? If this is you taking on this Queen of Swords, you've lost a lot of faith here, right? You've lost a lot of hope and a lot of faith. This is why I think the Queen of Cups is coming in so heavily, because you really need to check in. What is it you want? What is it you need? Because I think what's been going on, because again, I don't necessarily think this is the first time something like this has happened. But I think the repeat and the do-overs, there's not much left. Like, the drive to keep this going isn't very high anymore. So you really need to check, is it worth it to try again? Is it something I really, really want to do? So, you know, take that as it resonates. Because remember, you have the power and you have the control. So, and you know, you can lose hope, but it can still be something you want, right? And you know, we talked about earlier, the saving grace is that you have the ability to change that, right? But you need to connect in and see if that's something you really, really, really want to see. Now, if this energy, and we kind of talked about this already, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. You know, if the energy is like this, where this Queen of Swords is the person you're dealing with, and they're being super, super reactive and volatile, there is no hope. Instead of there being no hope in you, there is no hope in this situation. You need to go. Like, you just need to go. Do it for yourself and get the, you know, you in danger, girl, get out. Like, you gotta go. You just gotta go. I don't want to... That was pretty simple. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. But I want to clarify this last outcome before we move on to the oracles. And, you know, I just kind of want to say it again, because I keep looking at this Princess of Cups with this little puppy. You know, be very careful of those rose-colored glasses, right? You have to look at things for how they are, not what they could be or how they used to be. You have to kind of have to be a little factual, like, see it for what it is. And I think with a lot of people that have really, really big hearts, yourself included, Virgo, it's very easy to see the potential in a situation or the potential in a person, right? I can see what you could be. I can see where you could go. But if that person makes it there or not isn't up to you seeing it. It's up to them believing in it and doing it for themselves. And honestly, I think you see a potential much bigger than this person does, if this is a person. Or you see more success in a situation than people are able to give you at the present time, right? Doesn't mean there isn't change possible. We already said that there was, so just have to see how that connects with how you're feeling about the situation. Last card out, Seven of Wands. That is a very strong independent energy. And independent in a great positive way, because this is you with those boundaries we set up, right? This is you taking your stance. This is how I'm going to live. These are the rules that I can abide by. This is the situation I want to be in. If you can play with that, great. You're cool. Come on up. If not, trust and believe I'm not letting you on my land, right? Like you've got your seventh wand ready to defend your position, right? So I don't necessarily see this. I know some readers will see the Seven of Wands as a block. I don't necessarily see it as a block, but it is a defense in a way. Like, these are the boundaries of my land. If you can play by my rules, you are welcome to come in. If you can't, then, baby, you don't get to come in. Like, you just don't. Ooh. I got so many cards I'm trying not to shuffle on the table and mess them up, but shuffling on my leg is not working right now. Okay. So I'm going to pull a few oracle cards before we wrap up here. Biggest things for you, Virgo, that Four of Swords and that Queen of Cups. So yes, taking that, I shouldn't say taking that break, but you definitely need to rest. You need to recover. You need to take a breather. And then also that Queen of Cups. Checking in with your emotional health, your emotional body. What is it you need? What is it that makes you happy? What fuels you? For some, it can even be, kind of checking in with that subconscious for sure. What was that? Oh, okay. I think I just want the face-up ones. We're not going to take these. Do I? We're not going to keep them, we're going to talk about them. And mostly because, hello. Everything we were just talking about, re-energizing. We've also got light, inner knowing, so big connection to that Queen of Cups there with that inner knowing card, trusting yourself, what your needs are, and communicating them effectively here with that. So we're not going to pull those, but we're going to take that as extra guidance. And then we have acceptance and gratitude. We kind of talked about that gratitude a little earlier too, didn't we? Now to me, this particular energy, essentially, here, I'm not going to repeat myself, but essentially it's what we were talking about with that Queen of Swords back at the start of this reading. This is that energy about being factual and being really honest with the situation, accepting what is, being grateful for what was, but treating it how it is in the present moment. Right? What is it I actually have to work with? What is it that's actually on the table? And what do I want to do with it? How do I want to use that? For some of you, if you're willing to do it, because I get it's like I'm about to give you homework. But I feel like with that gratitude, normally when that gratitude card comes out, it's always kind of a nice little sign to me to kind of include a gratitude practice into your situation. Hermit card, retreat and recharge. Come on now. Do you understand it yet? I feel like that's your guys, but how many times do we need to tell you? Guys got shaman, trust in higher forces. I think Cancer also got that card too. if you have Cancer placements, it might be worth it to watch the Cancer reading. I think they also got this. But for sure, Hermit for you guys. But this gratitude card, I think it might benefit you to add a gratitude practice into your routine. And literally that can be something as simple as, you know, before you go to bed, think of something you were grateful for that day. You know, I tend to do this during the waning moon cycle. You know, and I'll do some, and sometimes I'll write it down, sometimes I'll just say it to myself, you know. And some days it can be something great if you had an awesome interaction with someone, or someone brought you a, you know, surprised you with a little gift. It can be something, you know, wonderful and special like that. It can also be something as simple as, I'm so glad I have a bed to sleep in tonight. You know, it can be some, I'm so grateful I had dinner, right? I'm grateful the sun came out. It can be anything. But just doing that small little practice for yourself will help to shift the energy. It's also going to help to move you towards this Four of Swords energy. Because I know, like, definitely for some of the Virgos, I know that is a hard thing to do for you. Because a lot of times you guys you're so diligent, you're so focused, and you're hardworking, and you're one sign that's really able to stick to tasks and follow through and really commit and work very hard on them. And literally the advice right now is like, could you stop? Just stop. Like, just stop. You can relax, you can breathe right now, it's okay. Which is a hard energy sometimes for people to shift, right? Especially for a sign like you that is so, your follow through is kind of insane. I don't even know if any other sign could combat that. You have Mother Earth here, and this again, that's, to me, that's really connecting to that Queen of Cups, right? Feeling loved and comforted, feeling safe and protected. You also have the Arrow. Surround yourself with protective energy. This is to help you recover, right? Because I would almost argue, especially if this was a romantic relationship we're talking about, you know, I almost want to say this feeling didn't happen very often, if at all, for some of you, right? And this is where you have to return to, because you are definitely deserving and worthy of this. You stand your ground. We talked about that with the Seven of Wands, having to set up some really firm boundaries, but then also hold on to them. If you want to play in my sandbox, these are the rules, all right? And then take time to reflect. Again, another opportunity for you to step back and chill and rest. But this is that integration piece. So it's not just, well, I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm not, bye. But then you also have to integrate that and exercise some understanding to it. So why did this happen? How can things be different next time? You know, for some it might be what were our roles in this, right? Because the other person had a role, you had a role, right? So how can I navigate these waters easier if it were to happen again? Or, you know, what situations here can I recognize to make sure I don't get here again, right? If I can, you know, divert a situation before it gets this far, okay? So big time for introspection, not only for your own recovery and healing, but also for that shift in perspective on this situation, whether you give it another go and help it to grow and flourish, or if it's time to cut some cords, right? It can go either way depending what it is you desire. All right, my lovely Virgos, I need some water, so I'm definitely going to wrap your reading up here. But beautiful, beautiful reading. Cancer season going to be a great time of recovery for you. I'm sending you guys lots of love. If you enjoyed this reading, I'd appreciate it if you could smash that like button. Also leave a comment down below. Let me know how it resonated or what you'd like to see in a future video. And if you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when our next reading pops up. Virgos, I love you guys. Take care. Stay safe. I will see you in your next video. Bye.